Gasoline. Hate to love it, love to hate it. It started at a friend's house around a bonfire at night. The night was clear and a freeway was nearby. This was my first experience with gas. We had a cloth dosed in gas and passed it around. There were 3 of us, including me. The first hallucination was with the sound I was hearing, a wah-wah effect included with every sound. Not fast though, 1 wah about every couple of seconds. I felt good, but my mental state had been changed somehow. I was still alert, thinking this was the end of our fun. Said, hell, if this is it, then let's do more. I was way wrong. This is only the beginning. Couple more huffs, put more gas, then huff some more. The wah seemed to be the only sound left. Began to lose sense of reality, space and time. Anything and everything I knew did not matter, not in a careless sense, just that the stress of existence was hidden due to the amazing trip I was in. In my mind, I was trying to figure this shit out. What I came up with does not make much sense now, but it did at the time. I somehow came up with this. The longer I held my breath, the faster I would race. I will elaborate. The stars were the checkpoint and the cloth was the contestant. Not human, just an inanimate object that had a personality. The rotation of the cloth as we passed it sparked a starting point, and suddenly I would shoot off into the stars, riding the lights from the cars on the freeway in my peripherals. Next star, next star, next star, and I feel the wind hit me, and as I race, colors would swarm around me in mathematical synchronization. Then slowly, as I came down, I found that I was running with my legs, sitting in a chair, saying, "I'm on a galaxy!" over and over again. The wah was replaced with a chiming sound like a Tinkerbell type sound. When it all ended, my mind felt like it was waiting, like a cursor in the middle of typing, but just sitting there, waiting. My friends laughed at me for my trip. We packed up and called it quits. The next day I returned to his house, but he had to leave for the moment. He said I could watch TV or whatever, so I did, while huffing. So, as I was alone, I began to feel light and my peripherals faded away so that all I saw was the TV. Many others report a deja vu. Here's mine. In my mind, I had a thought that the cloth in my hand, to someone not knowing about huffing, could be construed as I'm masturbating and that's the cloth. Immediately after that thought, I think, what if someone walks in the room and my amazement of the deja vu would give off a reaction to certify the first thought for someone? Then after that thought, I hallucinated it in reverse. Weird reaction certifying the misunderstanding, then the misunderstanding itself, then the person involved backing out of the room, closing the door. Once the door closed, it opened right back up, person walks in, sees me and the cloth, and I sat up really fast from the crazy deja vu, which is the certainty for the person that I was masturbating. He says ill and leaves the room as I try to explain. Turns out that that person is actually my friend's brother. After that, my curiosity for this drug grew immensely. I wanted to know how, why, what does it mean, etc., and pursued to find out how I did it. Then months later, a separate friend of mine and I were trying to get some bud, but was all dry. So as I passed his dirt bike, it clicked. From this point, I regret all of it. I show him, and we settle ourselves down in the living room using a cloth like I had before. I put music on that has a low, heavy beat. I literally see transparent sound waves come from the sub. Then because of my know-it-all attitude and the already growing curiosity for more, my mind simplified it with gas must enhance the senses, which aided in my want for huffing. I continued. After a bit, a section of the music played backwards, the beat, the lyrics completely backwards. I know the song so well I knew better, but your mind believes it, so I start the song over, no huffing, and it's fine. I know I didn't skip it, it was MP3. I then make the comment in my mind that gas might change the chemistry of your brain. Did not want to believe it though, because I was hooked on these hallucinations that aren't just visual. I had them in my head, heard them, felt them, and interacted with them. Later that night, I hinted to my friend that things might be different at night, remembering my first time. They were way different, even more than the first time. We sat in the back of a truck and gazed off into the stars. After about 5 minutes, we both report to each other that it feels as though we are zooming towards the stars we are looking at. When I looked away or to another star, it would start over, so I continued to focus on one star. As I zoomed off to the star, wind hits my face, which gives a tunnel effect, and all the other stars formed around the one star. I always avoided the stars that fell in between the power lines because of the fact that I might get shocked as I zoom off. I forced myself to do so after a while, and as I go through the power lines, they felt as though they stretched across my face like cheese cutter wire. We did this trip so often, we coined a phrase for it, rising up. Because of the moonlight, it created an awesome contrast of shadows and dim light, which was perfect for complete hallucinations in a world of hallucinations. I call this being on a galaxy. I also became giddy at the time and looking over the rail of the truck and looked down at the dirt and pebbles. A comic strip emerges, not in whole though, scene for scene, and my eyes knew where to look for the next scene. There were 4 scenes constructing one cartoon dog picking up a rock and smacking another unsuspecting cartoon dog on the head. The detail was that of a cartoon, and I found it to be very funny. After that, I looked over to my friend, and his hood was over his face. He was groaning. You would think that my response to that is, "Are you okay?" But no, I somehow idolized that he was in a tunnel of colors and could not get out of this trip. After watching him for a couple of minutes, I gently rubbed from his forehead to his chin, narrowing the tunnel to bring it to a stop. I did it about 4 times before he asked what I was doing, in which I replied, "I'm helping you out of the tunnel." He agreed with me and thanked me. I think now, how did I know? But then I knew what I knew, and that was that. Weeks and weeks go by of this pattern with the hallucinations, generally related to each other with the occasional oddball. My friend fell out of the excitement, but I pressed on, determined to figure it all out. I began to feel my mindset give. Random thoughts, and I mean random, swarm my mind uncontrollably. I believe that this is because too much blood is going to my head, and the way to stop it is to hold my neck of the blood. Doesn't work, but after sitting through it, it goes away. To this day, after not huffing for about 3 years, I can still feel it in my mind and the way my visuals are perceived. My mind seems to be much slower in processing these visuals, and if I am tired and in a dark area, transparent hallucinations can be seen. I know what I've done to my mind is irreversible. The extent of my trips proceed. I am in fact an entity reborn in a human body to protect the stars. My name, Gachio, and I must relearn my abilities during the day and fight at night. I began to control my trips to an extent. I lifted an RV off the ground with my mind, and when I let it down, it bounced like it really would from that height. I could ride down the power lines into the sky and move stars with my hand. When I wasn't huffing, I felt irritable and angry. Every night, though, I would go out for at least 3 hours to trip or hold up my name of protection. Gradually, I would earn my abilities, but once in a while, no matter how much I huffed, no trip. Must be a chemistry thing. And then it finally ended. I can't trip anymore, no matter what. So here I write, gas can stop your heart. I am very lucky to be alive, but I must live with the possibility of cancer. Brain, lung, who knows? But gas goes through all of that and more. Never huff anything. I regret all of what I've done, even though I said at the time, gas is awesome and I never quit. I feel the negative effects now and gas isn't worth it. I think I may have developed a minor case of dyslexia when reading or writing, and even sometimes when I speak. I cannot express how dangerous inhalants are, but for what I have expressed, I hated loving it. Now, I love hating it.